What up, people? It's your boy, Mar Black.
And McGee.
Young Dev.
And we are the nerds in the hood.
In the hood.
Coming to you live from Common Sense Studios in the hood. It's Nerds in the Hood, our podcast here. We doing it once again. Episode 117, Sean? 117?
Is that the one?
We still moving. We getting through the Harlem blocks,
It's a good one. It's a good one today,
yes.
though.
Yes, it's a good one today. That is right, Dev. I'm glad you said that.
Good one today.
For many of reasons. One of the reasons, while I'm fixing my mic here, is the fact that we have a special guest in the building. Not just any special guest. It's a momentous occasion because it's our first special guest in the studio era. The first special guest.
Long time coming. It's been a while.
Long time coming. We've had guests in Ashan's house. We've had guests in Dev's house, but they've all been basically our friends. So now we have a guest.
He's our friend too.
He is our friend, but I mean, like, you know, those friends weren't business friends. These are colleagues in the business game versus like, oh yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, nigga. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, we'll kick the shit later or whatever. But anyway, this is a very special occasion. First guest of the whole studio era. So we're going to go ahead and let you state your name, brother. Go ahead and let the people know who you are.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Naaviiz from... Wow, I feel like I have to say like my spiel too as well because y'all already had your spiel.
Yep.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Naaviiz from Video Game Amateurs, and this is I'm usually referred to as the Pokemon Don. I'm out here in the streets with part of the VGA crew, and I'm super excited to be, you know, the first guest here in the space. The space is FYI. Beautiful, immaculate, gorgeous. I already told them they need to have a camera so when people come in, just to like get that surprise reaction, because this place looks super decked out. This is beautiful.
It's transformed. It's transformed over the last couple months.
True.
That I'll show you. I'll send you a reel. I have a reel of like pretty much like I think it was like the first week or so. We made a reel, and you can see it's like completely different artwork up. Our boy Ralph works hard. You see all these beautiful pieces on the wall.
Shout out to
Instigator. He's always
show us.
Yo, and we've turned it in like a collab by all of us. It's coming into a nice spot.
Yeah,
and
for sure. I mean,
dope to have you here for the first
every
one.
piece that you
right
see is his art. So I'm glad that you feel that way. I'm glad that you feel so welcome into the spot. Like we said, you are the first guest, so you technically blessing the spot.
It's a christening.
Listen, just slight little christening, a little bit of fairy dust. That's all I'm gonna do. But y'all really making the magic here. You know, I can already tell. Even prior to our conversations, you know, I wish we recorded that, but it was super dope to even just like to hear from y'all and to see where you guys are now. This is dope. I cannot stop speaking highly of y'all and like what y'all have done. Super dope.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, man. That was very nice of you to say, brother.
For sure. With that being said, I wanted to get into a little bit more about you. So, when you said that you're part of VGA Amateurs, I would like to know, like, you know, how did that start? Like, where did that all happen for you?
Yeah. No, and before that, you know what's so funny? And people do this, and I don't think they realize it when they say it. It could be just the way that we have our verbiage, but it's not VGA Amateurs. It's video game amateurs. Or VG amateurs. I've heard people always say that.
Yeah, it's always
you know.
I've said that so many times, and you're right. It is video game amateurs. It is. VGA.
But for some reason, people always say like VGA amateurs, and I'm like,
it's like, you know, so you just give me amateurs.
Yeah, we're double amateurs. I mean, I guess so.
Yeah, right. They just decided to skip the first two words completely.
Yeah, the first word. No, but it's so funny because we've been stuck with that since our inception, and I just to kind of really talk quickly about like video game amateurs and its inception. And when I say we, is really Brandon's kind of brainchild. I think in 2018 he saw the new Dragon Ball FighterZ game. This is his story. You know, his story. I'm sure he's talked about it before. You know, he fell in love with the game. He had a bunch of friends that he worked with, and he said, "Yo, like, let's just like I like the idea of streaming, but I don't want to do it every day." And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Cool. So let's just bring a bunch of friends who just want to have a good time, stream daily, and just see like how that works. And if anything in life, you know, you come in thinking one thing and you come out doing what we do now, right? And so like from having tournaments in Brandon's crib where we used to send it on like forums and I think Facebook groups or whatever, now, you know, we're hosting events, we're working with the Department of Education, working on curriculums to further enhance teaching, or rather learning through gaming. And we're also now expanding into hopefully other territories and working with different states on and just to see how can gaming be utilized not only in in schools but also even within other government facilities. So it's a surreal experience.
That's dope. Honestly, when I learned that about y'all, collabing with DOE and giving some of these kids the spaces, I thought that was a big leap and a jump, that an achievement on another level, just being able to expand in that realm, working with the kids and doing all that. I thought that shit was so dope.
I wanted to you just said that learning through gaming, so I want you to expand a little bit more on that. Exactly what do you mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess everybody has a origin story. So the real reason how we even got to that, and I will explain about learning through gaming, and so sort of how this impact went through. But when I was 12, 13, back in the day, it wasn't Adobe, it was Macromedia Flash. Right, I talked about y'all. I used to upload Newgrounds content. That was kind of that was kind of the Wild West in in a post 2000 era. And so there was a guy, I guess, an intern from Adobe or Macromedia, and he taught my class. How to do Flash animations, and then from there I became kind of pen pals after the whole thing was done. And so from him I learned how to code. I learned how to do animation. I essentially made a Mega Man 1 remake.
Oh, that's dope.
The first stage of Cutman, because of a person who didn't really know me, but because he knew that I was so interested in the class, that I learned more through it. And so it gave me the opportunity to then be able to go to college for animation in Pratt Institute to be able to do all that. All that to say is that that's certainly the same level and learning of teaching for us. We want to enable and empower kids who do not have the resources or the understanding of how to get to these spaces, and kind of give that pathway for people who look just like us. And now that we're kind of growing into this stage where there is more representation in schools and in these facilities, but unfortunately in the gaming industry there's still a majority white owned establishment, right? And you don't really see a lot of directors of people of color like us ourselves. It's probably about maybe 4 to 10%, and don't quote me on that, but it's a very small majority. Meanwhile, we're the biggest consumers of the market when it comes to FGC, when it comes to all these things, and something that clearly as consumers we also know what the product looks like. So why is it that we're allowing other people who don't necessarily represent us to represent a product like that? Which is why I'm a big fan of Mortal Kombat 1 Mortal Kombat franchise, because the guy's Dominican, Ed Boon.
Yeah.
So, shout out to my guy.
I didn't even know that.
De mi gente. Yeah, man, listen, you gotta, you start, Dominican guy from, born and raised in Chicago, but his family from DR, something like that. So shout out to our people, but still, that's just one person out of the many.
Yeah, and many, of course.
So back to the idea of the style of teaching and such like that. I think to us, we want to learn. You're learning through gaming, and what does learning through gaming look like? Is game theory. What does game theory look like? What is the art of play?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, unfortunately, even with our own system when we grew up, it's so much so of telling and not so much of showing. And so what we want to do is we want to empower these kids to understand what gaming looks like. Gaming doesn't just have to be with controllers, but it can also be through board games, through card games, through even just something as tic-tac-toe, the element of it, the foundation of what game design is, because that in itself is an art, just with everything else around us. And so we want hopefully to empower a collaborative unit for kids to learn how to make games within those classes. But then we also have another aspect where we're also going to teach them through competitive play. So that's when we bring Overwatch, where we'll bring League of Legends, we'll bring Pokemon Unite, something I really love, Super Smash Brothers. It's something that we've already done in a pilot program in Chicago, and that's what we've done also here in New York. So to me personally, fundamentally, this is sort of like my secret calling that I always tell to people. Like, I think there's something beautiful in giving opportunities to those who I wish I knew myself, in essence, right? And I think we can all also take from that, from our own life stories. We wish we were ourselves to tell our younger selves, like, hey, this is kind of like how the path looks like.
I like that you said that.
I mean, you want to go real quick?
Yeah, I was going to say, because I did want to get a little to, so, we call nerds in the hood, so since it's your first time on, part of our thing is that what hood we're from. We've talked about it many times.
Oh my God, I'm not here.
Yeah, so
y'all gotta stop me. Don't let me go on like that.
You're touching about being a kid and grow, and that's good because initially we talk about it, which is the fact that we grew up, especially me, on Toonami, right? So most of my anime, most of my video game knowledge comes from that era of time, PlayStation or whatever, PlayStation 2 and so on, right? I was a full-on Sony head. That was my thing. So for you to say, like, you know, where does the initial core beginning of video game start? It starts there, right? So what hood are you from? Like, what started your like whole video game like beginning and style of how you do things?
Man, I think 1994. A core memory is so funny because I remember, I think my dad, he bought the Super Nintendo Donkey Kong edition for my brother.
Classic.
But I was like 3 or 4 at the time. I don't know why I remember this core memory because it was a
classic.
Right, it was such a classic. It was such a classic that even for me, like as I was like 3 or 4, like I remember that core memory because but then my dad was like, no, it's not for you. It's for your older brother. And I was so tight because, you know, my brother and I he's like my half brother, but I still, you know, I represent him as my brother.
Of course.
So he lived with his mom out in like Jersey and whatnot. So he obviously got to play. I could not. So we didn't actually get games because my mom was super like strict and she was like, nah, mijo, esto no para ti, you know? And I was like, dang. Sorry for those. It's just like, yo, it's not for you. All right. So I will go back and forth in the Spanish. Brandon does call me Univision, and for a reason you'll see as I kind of like go through my que lo que. But so my mom really stopped me from like really playing games, but I think I had to get really good grades, and so I think that's also what helps in me being super studious is just the fact that like, my mom's like, you're not touching anything. And then I think until I was like maybe 9, my first game, you guys, I haven't really talked about this, but another core memory was my first game was Pokemon. Actually Donkey Kong Country for the Game Boy Pocket. My parents got that, which was really cool.
I remember that.
That was my first official game, but my second was Pokemon Red. And Pokemon Red obviously changed, I mean, everything in my life, right? Like Pokemon itself, the franchise.
I feel like a lot of people started there too. Like in the Pokemon era, like a lot of gamers like back in the day with Game Boys, like Pokemon was like that start point for a lot of people.
Oh my God, yeah.
Tell them your AKA, what? Pokemon what?
Listen, I'm the Pokemon Don. I'm the Pokemon Don, yeah.
Pokemon Don.
No, actually, you guys, a little fun fact. I think I've never really talked to anybody about this. Like, I used to make Pokemon content videos, and they do pretty well. They're like 10,000, 12,000 like views over the span of like 12, 13 years.
Nice. They still popping though.
They're still popping. I don't know why. I had like the J-pop music in the background, like with the Logitech video over it. Like I really was out here hustling. You know, I think I did some walkthroughs too as well. But no, I mean Pokemon really has shaped my life. Obviously, you know, I'm gonna shoot my shot. One day I'm gonna apply for Pokemon to be to work for the company.
Do it.
It's like you know, like people like who work with brands and stuff like that. Like they're like, I want to work for Nike for X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, yeah, I want to work for Pokemon because I think like they are a global brand. Overall, there's still something that they're doing correctly even after 30 years.
30 years, yeah.
Like you can't just like rule them out for being like, you know, it's iconic. Hello Kitty's iconic, but like you don't see it as, you know, effective as Pokemon. Mm-hmm. And why is that? You know, so there's just like things you just gotta look at. Like clearly, they like the sauce is there, but it's not the developers are doing it. Someone else is doing it. So
that's so true. I'm not gonna lie. What he said about Pokemon, it's just gonna move my mind.
I'm sorry. I'll be dropping gems. I hope y'all will be like, dang, this guy just. Let me take
notes. You just take him down. You just take him down.
But you gotta think of
the fact that you said when you say you work for Pokemon. I was like, yeah, that sounds solid. But what you said after is like, yo, they've been doing it good for 30. I'm like, word, it has been working.
See how long you realize how long it is.
But that's what. But like, let me just remove like the nostalgia factor from everything that we look and care about, right? There's a reason why they keep bringing back the same old games that like we've loved, and we keep saying like, damn, they keep bringing back the same Final Fantasy. They keep bringing back the same not Call of Duty because they know they're a cash cow at that point. Yeah. But you know like old or yeah. Right. Those like they're always gonna keep cycling. But we're talking about like old school, like the remasters. Like freaking remember Mario? The Mario 3 that Mario game for the Switch where it's like, oh, we're only releasing for a limited time. You're bringing that brand All-Stars, yeah. You're giving that FOMO. You're pulling it. Like, listen, like Nintendo's is still a brand. They have certain rules that they gotta go by. They have certain IPs Like they have that, right? And that's something like they're untouchable almost. When you think of Nintendo, you think of untouchability. Yeah. You think of Sony, you think like you have to think like there's certain numbers, right? But there's certain words and certain things that we attribute to these brands that we so love and care about. So yeah, no, for Pokemon to do it for 30 years, for just like catch like rats and mouses and shit, like hey, they're doing something. They're doing something correct at the very least. Even if it's not like, even if the game sucks, the game is no longer. And kind of what I was telling y'all about, even previous to, which is going to be in their Patreon. So check that out in the description below. What's super important is
plug.
Right. You always got to drop the plug right over here, and they're going to edit that. They're going to show it right now. Right. So what's super important is that the games no longer have to sell well. They can suck.
Yeah.
Their last game, Pokemon's last game, sucked. But you know what? The plushies, the marketing, the brand itself is so big.
But it's grown so much beyond the game, though.
Beyond the game.
That's where the niche is. Like it's a culture at this point. You know, people are doing reveals of Pokemon cards on fucking online with all the different packs that come out, and those shits get like hundreds of thousands of hits like a day. So it's people have grown from the game into, you know, the anime, the fucking the card game, like, and it goes beyond that. So it's like a big business at the end of the day. It's a big business.
Yeah, that's why these indie developers, you know how like all this stuff works. It's like we're now in a TikTokification of like content and in branding too. So luckily, Pokemon's already done this even before. But like for a new indie game to like get to this point, like you need to have like the brand awareness. You need to have the backing of like the underground. So like there's so much more work to get like an indie game to be profitable, which is why the gaming industry as a whole is not doing well, and which is why they stick to things that they know is tried and true. Which is why you're always constantly gonna get these remasters. You're constantly gonna get like the same shit. Because that's what like really all these franchises are doing, because really the same shit just regurgitated. Why DLC now drips into something else, because it has to. You have to drip them, you have to give them that source, and you have to give them content for us, because we're constantly like in this weird like spinning machine. And I don't mean to sound like a evangelist on like, put my tinfoil hat and stuff, but like,
I mean, but it's facts though.
But the things that you have to like also think of this too. Sorry.
No, I was, bro.
Cook.
I love
cook.
Like, I love that you talking the way you talk, because it's so funny when you do that. You're just like,
that's it, yo. Cook. Just let him cook.
No, I can't do this.
Yeah. Just let him cook. Drop jams. Let them know about yourself. It's a fact.
Like you dropping facts, bro.
Don't stop. Don't stop,
bro. But he's trying to talk to me.
No. We are.
We're letting you talk. We're not gonna cut you off, bro.
You just drop it. You can.
You want to switch gears? You want to switch gears?
Yeah, let me switch gears.
Let's switch gears.
But wait, hold on. Before you get there, I wanted to touch on something that he said, like just going back to VGA and
I was gonna go to VGA too.
With providing that service, because I think about just when I started gaming, and you were talking about like where you started with Pokemon and all that. Growing up, it wasn't as like there was a stigma behind playing video games for too long, or like just always being where there was so much. Like when you look at it now, it's like a real like you could do something with this. Like you can go somewhere with like being like proficient in like video game and knowing like trying to build a video game, being more into computers, and that could be a whole other outlet where y'all providing a service to these kids right now with the DOE, pushing them into that space, especially of people of our color, making them more vocal and making them more present in that scene, which is dope. Because if someone told me back in the day like I could develop a video game or I could make one, and actually push that agenda, I might be in a different space than where I'm at right now, because we all love playing video games back in the day. We'd be heavy on PlayStation, Game Boys, and all that other stuff. So just the fact of like to relate to that you're giving that to these kids of these days, and like there's so many routes to go where maybe someone doesn't want to like maybe go to college for that. Maybe they found some another niche where they can learn something online, and they can develop their own systems, and they learn from other platforms and things of that nature. Just more opportunities to where it could just broaden the horizons, and that's lit to me.
What you're saying, I wanted to also say something to add to that. So I would say that I wanted to give you your flowers on getting the DOE, because I understand that you guys go to these events and you bring video game systems, right? So you allow the kids to play games in itself, right? On different screens. And just so you know, a little fun fact, these dudes at VGA are actually some of the nicest gamers I know.
Facts.
They are some of the nicest, all around nicest gamers in different systems. And they dominate in those games. Like, I'm not even gonna front, right? So for you guys to teach kids how to play is a blessing in itself, because when I was a kid, I was actually, I'm pretty decent now, but it took a very long time of a lot of practice and getting cooked by nice gamers to get better, right? So you're teaching these kids, like, you know, and I know there's probably kids in there that won't say it out loud, that when they go to other spaces, they're not the nicest gamer, right? They're probably in their friend group not the best gamer, and then like over time, you know, they might meet you might teach them some things, and you make them a little bit better, right? There's a whole avenue now where gamers are getting paid professionally. So if you become a good gamer, you could make the money. So
let me stop you there, because both of y'all had super great points, and I want to digest everything individually.
Sorry. I know why he's laughing. I know why he's laughing. Low-key, this is why he's laughing. Let me tell you why. Because when I said I was getting cooked in games, he was one of those, I don't want to curse.
No, you can curse.
Yeah,
no,
he was one of those bum-ass things that used to cook me. I'll admit it. He used to cook me in 2K.
We had that.
He was catching. I was left and right. I was left and right.
Naruto Shippuden. We'll throw that in there.
Oh, Shippuden? Y'all nice man?
We was in the dojo. I mean, let me tell you how. There's a dojo. There's a dojo.
No one tells me about the dojo, but I was a dojo now.
At one point,
he was never a part of it.
We're all friends. We all friends.
We had a chance.
Yeah, because I was that outcast. You heard?
Honestly, he was a practice dummy.
I was
like, yo, I'm gonna try this new move. I'm trying to keep on this dude right now.
I was low-key Toby, not even Obito. I was just
random.
Wait. Let me just clear the air for everybody here. There's a lot of Naruto games. I want to come correct and on record. What game am I waxing y'all in?
Oh. Interesting.
We're trying to say. Are we gonna say the whole Naruto franchise?
Which Storm is it?
Which Storm? Yeah, thank you.
Which Storm? I want to say Storm.
If you say from the beginning, you're done.
3 and 4 is the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
4 was just.
What was 2? 2 was
not. Oh.
Ninja Storm 2.
I had the whack one. I had the Generations one. So the 3.5 where they're like, oops, back in the day, they just wanted to add some patches. The patches, so we got a whole new game.
They were trying to animate the.
No. Listen, Miyagi style, wax on, wax off, doesn't matter. 3 or 4. Which ones I look like? Listen, we might have a beautiful thing.
I would have to dust off my controller.
The new one's about to come out, so
yeah.
Okay, then we wait.
Yeah, we wait because the new one's going to come out.
Are we about to go back into the lab? Like, it's been a minute. I just have to dust off my controller. But back in the day, we used to battle.
But he didn't want to listen to my teachings.
It's deeper than that. It's way deeper.
It's deeper. Yeah. Listen, right. Yo, let me tell you how deep this stupid game runs in my blood. I used to get cooked every week by my boy. I don't know how every week. I thought I'd be like an extra inch closer. He's still with my ass until I realized puppets are cheese. I started OD on him.
That's a fact.
I started OD on him.
Get back, bro.
You thought you had me?
Everybody had that character with
everybody had that arc. Everybody had that arc in their lives. No shame.
Mine was the Kakashi joint, bro. The straight into the straightforward. When he did the
Chidori nigga?
The Chidori, yeah. When he did the Chidori, that was cheesy, bro, because he would do it quick and you couldn't.
Marv knows my cheese. Who was it? You remember?
Who's the cheese?
Wait, you wasn't.
I was the
Tsukage.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, my son used to throw up boulders. So people would try to charge me. I'm like, oh, where are you trying to charge me? That dude would just throw up boulders and stop him in his tracks and then hit him with mad rocks. Boom, boom.
Yeah, that was you. And then your brother was Toby with the mask. When he,
that was me too, Toby.
That was you?
That was me too. I had a couple couple hitters where you couldn't beat me for a while with all of them.
I was happy. I was like,
I had a couple people.
I trained this man and he got good.
Toby and
it was deep. It was deep, bro.
Meanwhile,
I see. No, and that's
I was proud on the left side.
It was
not proud on the right.
No, look, okay. There's a group of outside of this group of friends. There's another group of friends, like another.
We got a rival group of friends.
It was like a strong 8 friends, right?
Yeah.
And then
Well, they can't be that strong because you got 4 and 4. What's going on?
So wait, hold on. Wait,
what happens.
Before you dive in,
Does it happen? Tell me how it happens in your friend group, my friend.
Before you dive in, like he's talking about other people, like because we've known each other for like years. We've known each other for years.
Yeah.
So we pretty much grew up gaming against each other.
Other friends.
Where where we would play 2K, Madden, or fucking like
Marvel versus
Capcom, and things like that.
Three.
We would
talking about
ultimate, really ultimate.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about where we would be in there. Our weekends were straight going over, getting lit, playing games.
Where it got bad, where it got so we're all so nice now that it's best out of 5. Like it's disgusting. It's like
that is true.
There was too many close ones where you threw a knife and it was like, come on, bro. Nah, run that back.
It had to be a set.
Yo, you're a cornball. Get that shit out of here.
Best out of 5. Best out of 3 wasn't hit anymore.
That's how it is. Yo, it comes to a point where like you just get better. I hate that, but I love it.
Yeah.
So we challenge everybody. So we have our 2K matches. If someone gets clapped by 21. You gotta get off. It don't matter. We go 4 quarters of basketball. Now we gotta.
21 was the.
21
was by second quarter.
If I'm clapping you by 21 in the first quarter, I don't care about those 3 quarters.
Yeah, you're not catching me.
That's it. Next, give up the sticks.
Yeah, it's almost a big. It's almost a known rule. You're not coming back in 2K.
Once you get a 21,
20.
Once you get 21, that's it.
If you do come back from a deficit of 21,
chances are not strong.
It's just like, and we used to be like, boom, drop it, and then sometimes we might give them a rebuttal. All right, if you could cut it down to 19, then maybe we'll let you continue. But if it stays 21 after 2 possessions, drop the sticks, give it up. It's over for you. Who's next? You'll be like, next.
Because the games is long, bro. We don't got time to be.
That's like a good half an hour.
Yeah,
Anthony was the recipient of a lot of 21s. So we used to practice teams we don't even play against.
You don't let them talk to you like that?
But he knows that. He knows that.
But do you believe that? Do you believe that?
I did get dubbed sometimes, right? So it's not.
Apparently you do believe that.
Yeah, I got dubbed sometimes.
He got dubs on our off nights. On our off nights. He called dubs on our off nights.
There was a couple of times the game was spazzing. They were just jerking me, and I got
Yo, boy, wait, time. I'm gonna fly by that one, but
come on, bro.
I'm gonna just give him. I'm gonna give him a W. I'm gonna get.
Oh, never mind.
Yo, Ralph.
He's trying to save his fumble. And I'm like, you made it once.
These two.
I'm trying to save you. I was gonna fly by it.
Yeah.
I was gonna go.
He did, but I was like, it just all added up too quickly.
I was like, damn. I was like, damn. I was trying to fly over.
But we knew what you meant.
Before he tries to tell you any other explanations, I'm gonna tell you the coup de grace stories when it comes to this man. So one time I'm in the wait, are you gonna tell it?
No, we're talking about the same thing.
Wait, hold on.
Let's find out.
Continue and then we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And then you tell the story if I'm not telling the story.
Right
so one day, I know what you're talking about. Shit. No, you tell it. Okay, I'm sorry.
You started.
Well, yours. 2 different stories.
Damn,
story number 1.
There's a lot of stories involving.
Yeah, story number 1.
It's because they talk about games. The only game that I actually the 2 games I was good at, they didn't play like that. I was good at shooters and racers, and they don't play those games.
You lost in shooters. What are you talking about? Cut it out.
I was not whack at shooters. Stop playing.
Bro, when I picked you up on Call of Duty, I told you to get online.
Bro,
you was on the bottom of the totem pole.
Nah,
man.
you're bugging.
I'm bugging.
They told me you were so whack in COD that the zombies taught you how to shoot. It was like, nigga, look up. Look up, nigga.
I'm like, yo, enemy's over there. It's like, yo, I blew it.
Yeah, you be gassing it, bro.
Oh, you still got the nuke and not using it.
Now you're just saying I'm just whack at all games, man.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. So, This is my brother right here, ladies and gentlemen. I love this man. He said, I hope he is. No,
this is every day.
That was a beautiful cook.
We one day, me and him we having a little smoke session.
Okay.
Chilling in my car, talking, whatever. He goes, yo, you trying to run 2K? And I was like, what? Because that's all of our faces whenever he says that. Like, what? Nah, I'm good. We can just keep smoking. He's like, nah, let's run it. Yo, let's go ahead and run it. So I guess in his heart, he feels like today's the day. I'm going to catch a W on one of these guys. So I was like, man, you know what we going to do? So because of him, we adopted a rule where we just started playing random. Nobody's playing the A teams. Cats were just like LR. And me, him, and his brother.
We did random. So we did random. We play with teams that we don't play with. Like our go-to teams. We'd be like, oh, Anthony's playing? All right, we'll do random.
The Hornets, fuck it, whatever. So I played random, and he was like,
they lying, bro.
What? I hope they are. I got receipts, bro. I'm calling people.
I got a cosigner. And he didn't even know the story I was telling. So he starts, he's like, all right, cool. So he's like, nah, I'm going to play random too. Fuck you. So he picks random. So we started playing. I cooked this man. It's the third quarter. I'm like this. I'm like, damn, I don't even want to play no more. I'm cooking this nigga, man. I don't know what we about to. We need to play.
What, you get like 30 clapping?
Yeah, and I'm like, well, maybe we should watch Netflix or something. You know, when you high, maybe we should just binge something. So I'm about to tell him, like, yo, you still want to play? And I'm playing, though. This is all I hear. So I was like, what the fuck? So
he was sleeping?
Yeah, he passed out.
No way he was sleeping playing the game.
Yeah, I got a picture. My man was saying that like this. And the controller's in his head. He's just sitting there. But his face looks so vexed, like, I hate this game. So,
he just stopped playing. He put the controller down.
But here's what make it better, though. I tap him like, yo, bro, you good? He's like, oh, we still playing? Yo, I'm about to be out. He's out my couch.
So he just get up and left the game.
Yeah, so he didn't want to play no more.
He didn't want to play no more. So he fell asleep and said, I'm going to go.
So he quit. But the way he did, like, the instant transmission, he was like, I'm out, bro, I'm out. He's like, you still play this? Yeah, you can turn it off. I was like, damn. Nah, A-Sharp, we ain't here for you in a while. You have to tell the story, bro.
Was that the one?
Yo, why are we cooking me like this? I'm so confused.
Yeah, we don't have to. We don't have to.
He said he had a story. I didn't know.
Honestly, this is great. This is a great 8-minute clip content. Yeah, for your Patreon subscribers.
and we'll get to why we're telling these stories soon. But go ahead, A-Sharp.
This is the infamous story.
You probably heard this on a recent episode before.
I know, Chris. You talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, we're talking about.
Nah, that was not real.
That wasn't real.
This is worse than the blind player.
Yeah, that's not.
Wait, Chris
real,
who?
Bro.
Mikey's little brother.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
right.
Blind player.
No, so remember there was a guy that went to Evo and he was like, he's blonde. He was playing Street Fighter.
Was he really blonde? Oh, he put the
he put the blonde on.
Yeah, but he's really blonde though.
But he's really blonde. So what I mean by worse then is that.
We were by sound only.
We were like, yo, imagine some hood dude sitting there like, I'm about to cook this dude, and then the dude cooks him. So Ashawn has something that happened to this man's worse.
Mm-hmm. Speak on it.
I forgot what game it was.
Soul Calibur 4. I got you. Don't worry.
Damn.
Damn.
Thirsty ass.
He said, let me.
Go ahead, Ashawn.
Say what is it? Soul Calibur.
Take it to the point. Take it to the point.
He just literally went like this with the rock.
Yep, through the alley. In the interest of time, take us to the point, because I love this story. Because I was there.
So we always hype up this story of
how
you was there?
got clapped.
Yep.
Only this man's feet. But that did not happen.
What do you mean with his feet?
Nah, it kind of happened a little bit.
He used his feet?
Yeah.
To play the game?
No.
On the controller.
He said, yo, he said, it's so bad, I can beat this dude with my feet. And he put the controller down. He was like, look. So he started moving with his feet. And me and A-Shot sitting there like, y'all being stupid. And then we look up, and then Ed's trying to fight back, and he moves with his feet, and all you see is boom, boom. KO. We were like, oh.
Yo, that's not what happened, bro. I was getting cooked the whole match, right? And then I had like this much life. And then he said, yo, he's so bad, I can beat it with my feet. And he put the controller on the floor and stomped on it. And it just so happened the dude actually hit me.
So, in actuality,
these dudes over here saw 2 big toes moving 7 controllers. And they started beating.
Nah, A-Shot, say it.
He was putting in work.
Yeah. Tell him.
Bro, that did not happen, bro.
Nah, it's okay, bro. There's that point in your mind where you're like, nah, I'm not gonna let him disrespect me like that. So you tried, but homie was just like, ah, that was it. All you seen was zing. We was like, oh. And me and A-Shot was crying, and Ed was sitting there like, That's all you heard.
So moral of the story, I think you can get the fact that Anthony wasn't the best one.
Yeah.
Out of the competing crew.
Folks. He didn't deserve that.
You guys literally went on that whole tangent because I said little kids learning how to play video games.
He was supposed to touch on something, and we completely went off. We went left on pretty much
the hardest pivot.
It was a hard pivot.
No, we love kids, but
this guy right here.
What about these hands?
I definitely busted out laughing at the worst time. I was gonna let him answer the question. We
really did. It was off that.
Couldn't hold it in.
It was unanimous.
Yeah.
We heard him say it. We're like,
Yo, I couldn't be that kid.
That was the only one.
I couldn't be the kid who wished somebody taught me how to play video games.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, damn, son.
You know what? Yeah, let's pivot back. If do you remember the questions? You need to get reminded of the question again.
It wasn't really a question. It was more like I was just giving him praise on exactly what they kind of let.
Okay, and I was talking about, giving the kids in that space, that opportunity to move forward
and become even graphic designers, become more than what I was saying was like pro gamers. So we both were saying kind of the same thing, just the realm of you're teaching them the other side of video games other than just being like, oh, I buy $65 games, $75 games all the time and I run through them. There is a lot more to that, and not everyone's gonna be the best at it or even maybe make it to a high level, but it's still the opportunity that you give them and the knowledge that you're dropping on them that matters. So that's what I would say.
No, for sure. And I think something like a really good thing that I'm gonna kind of touch a point on is we do it for the love of it, and amateurs, the Latin word of it is amateur, which means for the love of it. So everything that we do for the love of it. It's not that we're saying we're nice at it. We happen to be pretty good at like video games overall, but like I think really what we're trying to do and what we're trying to emulate is, you don't have to be perfect. There's somebody out there just like you trying to figure things out on a day-to-day basis, and we all start somewhere. And if we don't start somewhere, then like how do we go to where we want to be? And so that's kind of like our why. That's sort of like what we think of whenever we do events, whenever we build our curriculums for these kids, whenever we move as a kind of like a within our brand and within the organization. Is just how do we make sure that we always like tap into that like childlike love, as well as just like because we're getting older, right? We are older people, and so like to us it's always we often forget that we can, like, time is relative, everything around us is relative. Just do it,
Word. Just do your thing, right? I wanted to switch gears a little bit after all that. That was a lot of fun, honestly.
yeah, we went. There was a roller coaster.
But I mean, that's this is nerds. Like, we having a conversation.
Yeah,
that's the best. That's the best part of it.
And honestly, on the flip side of that, we could go into saying that at at one of your VGA events called Game and Chill, you can catch any one of these dudes giving out the hands. And I know that's a thing. Like, you guys have a big pride on being good gamers. And so I was gonna ask you, like, maybe which one of those events, or like maybe one time that you remember, like getting a dope win, like really like crushing it in the game, because they were all talking about the times that they saw some funny wins or whatever. But
in those VGA events, or just like in general in my life?
In general.
Oh, so when I was 17, I went to Pennsylvania to go for a regional Pokemon video game championship tournament, because at the time, when we did it, it was super far. The tri-state area was just like, hey, you're gonna go to Philadelphia always, even though it's not part of the tri-state area. So I went out there, and I was fourth, and I was like top. Well, I think overall in the region, I was like top 16th in the region for Northeast, but like overall, like I was just like really like I sweated Pokemon double battles. Like I sweated that. Like I was like top ranker in Pokemon Showdown. I was really like just putting a lot of content in that. So to me, like it just naturally comes to me. Like I'll just play it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I forgot how this game works. Well, but it comes back to it. Yeah. But no, that was like my crowning achievement, just like knowing like my name is ranked at like 2008, 2009. At the time, yeah.
That's fine. I wasn't. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't play Pokemon that heavy. This guy was a big Pokemon trainer. He played a lot of the games.
Hey, hold on. What was your favorite Game Boy?
Huh?
What? You say you didn't play it a lot though. But what was
flashbacks?
My first Game Boy. Didn't we talk about this before?
This was a callback. What was your first Game Boy?
The Game Boy Advance.
Game Boy Advance.
What?
Game Boy Advance.
Was your first Game Boy?
Yeah.
That's what we said.
Huh.
Yeah, the Game Boy Advance.
Really?
Or the flip one, which was the SP or something like that.
That's the.
SP.
Yeah. That's SP.
The color and yeah.
You know,
He didn't have the OG shit.
I didn't have the OG one. Honest. But I had Super Nintendo, right? Literally, this is how my video game. I had Super Nintendo. I skipped.
He's rich.
He's rich.
Maybe.
Yeah, you see, I say like us peasants got the if then. If
No,
we were
I
lucky.
had Super Nintendo. I skipped N64 and GameCube, and I ended up having PlayStation 2. I literally went from Super Nintendo and became a Sony head, like, and then in between that I did have a Game Boy Advance, but I didn't have the very first Game Boy, and it could have been because I lost the disconnect at like 64, like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it took me a while for me to even be like, all right, what's this Pokemon? Like, let me see what's up.
Yeah.
But
because it's all like animals, right? It's like animals beating each other up, right? So people after a while, they're like, all right, these cute rats. Like I'm getting tired of beating them against a Squirtle or a turtle, whatever. So they grew out of it. But then I just got stuck with it. I was like, oh man, am I weird?
No.
Turns out,
Turns out you were not, sir.
Turns out it was like a normal thing. You just happen to have a hyperfixation of something,
Exactly.
So that's what it turned out to too.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you have any future plans other than the DOE? Future events, future plans for VGA coming up that you're allowed to say or want to talk about?
Yeah, man. Wow, it's so funny to actually that's such a great question because it's like the first time I'm actually admitting to myself like, yeah, there's certain things I can't talk about.
Yeah, I do understand that because you got a big market company. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, no, not even like that.
No.
But you're trying to get
you're doing your thing.
You're trying to get the first-hand scoop.
Yeah, exactly. I do. You hear, put us on. Put us on.
No.
No, respectfully though, you guys built a beautiful brand and it's going in the right direction. So I do, understand that there's some things that you gotta hold in the back pocket that you can't just talk about for whatever reasons or. Just because you don't want to.
No, totally. No. Yeah. We're gearing up for some really cool different events that we're hoping to be able to speak about, hopefully in the future. But essentially, all FGC launches, expect VGA to be there in some capacity, whether it be in New York or in another place.
So I'm
FGC?
Fighting game community. So within the fighting game community, Tekken's coming out soon, Mortal Kombat's coming out soon. You guys already know that we're gonna have an event next week at the time of this recording, in Spin. So we will be there to celebrate the Mortal Kombat launch party.
Okay, so to dig a little deeper. So by the end of 2023, what you got? Can you give us a number of how many things y'all got planned between now and December?
I think 6.
Wow.
Which is crazy. Yeah, which is crazy.
Wow.
We have two official what would be the after parties for New York Comic Con and Anime NYC. We have the Mortal Kombat event. We have another undisclosed event I can't talk about right now, unfortunately.
Okay, that's fine.
And I think we have 2 more actually, so it's 7. I think we have another one in December, and then we have another one for end of. So yeah, it's so funny because during the summer, it's very quiet for us. I think gaming is very quiet, but then Q4 to Q2, just the next 6 months, I'm back to back. My weekends are just gaming, right? Because celebrating gaming and all that stuff. So
it's a fact.
No,
that's a fact.
Yeah. Speaking of celebrating gaming, while we're recording this is actually the official day known as National Video Games Day. Which it only occurs to America apparently. I guess anybody in the world is
it's only respected here.
Huh?
It's only respected here.
Only here.
Yeah, National Video Games Day. Yeah, I don't think anybody in Africa or Japan is it's National Video Games Day, bro. No. But since we are a show that is located in America, we will respect it. It's National Video Games Day. Obviously, we got a gentleman who is well versed in the art of video games, as you saw. That's why we were telling stories of Naruto. Man gets beat by a kid with foot. All types of stuff like that. We just was talking about different memories from back in the day. But I thought of something that doesn't really get talked about on a lot of podcasts. But I wanted to talk about it because we're nerds in the hood. People always talk about what's the best video game you ever played? What's the greatest video game of all time? But one thing I know in the hood for sure is that there's always a video game that is so whack people want to play it to see how far down the rabbit hole is going. So I just want to know from you guys, like, what do you think is one of the worst video games that, like, you couldn't help but play because you heard people say it was trash? Like, you had to find out for yourself. You get what I'm saying? Like, what's a game? I'll start. Like, just to give you an idea. For me, one of the games was Superman 64. It's always known as the worst video game of all time, worst superhero video game of all time, worst cartoon-based video game of all time. But for me, it was a game so bad that I rented it from Blockbuster twice because I needed to play this piece of garbage game, but I wanted to beat it for some reason. I don't know why. And it was so bad that Superman flew through hoops, and he had to fly through hoops in a timed fashion.
Yo, I for fake remember that. That's crazy. He was like, it's like an obstacle course for fake. Like,
right.
Yeah.
So he had to fly through hoops within a certain time period, and then after that, then you started the board. But you could not start the board until you fly through the hoops, which was the weirdest thing I've ever saw in a video game. They were like, yo, like Brainiac or Lex Luthor was like, yeah, try to stop me, Superman, fly through these hoops. And it was like, what? But it worked because you could never get through the hoops because the controls were so clunky that I was like, if Brainiac did make this or Lex Luthor, then they are the smartest villains in the history of DC Comics. But for me, I got tons more. What's up?
No, that was a pretty yeah.
The game was pretty trash. But I'm just giving you an example of what I'm saying. Like, it's a game where you probably heard your friends like, yo, this game is doo-doo, but I need to play it because y'all telling me it's doo-doo. I don't believe you. And you play it and you're like, holy shit. Like, anybody?
I can't remember a game off the top of my head that I really didn't like that. But I don't know, because you know what it is? Those games were so bad that I just forgot about them.
I have one. If no one knows, I have one for sure. Y'all may or may not play this game. It's Dragon Ball Z Taiketsu. It was a Game Boy Advance game.
Wow, you said that game's what? I guess it's not.
Bro, that game is hot trash, bro.
Was it that bad?
That game is hot trash.
Was it that bad? I can't.
Yo, bro.
I don't remember.
Bro, Vegeta's hair was half his body. Yep. It was absolute garbage. It was garbage, and it wasn't. Right. And you know, we talk about developers and all their issues, but like that shit was ass, like absolute ass. like you get to unlock maybe 4 different characters. It was so bad, man. And it's like, it sucks because like, I wish I could give you guys more details as to why. It's just clunky controls. The supers were trash. Like they didn't have like a good cycle time with all this. It was just garbage. Actually, any Dragon Ball Z game with little like time to like get good is trash. So, which is unfortunately true. Like most, like even Dragon Ball Sagas. Dragon Ball Z Sagas.
Dragon Ball Z Sagas.
Y'all play that game in Dominican Republic in Porqueria.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Oh,
I'll say that in Spanish. I played that game in DR. I was like, que porqueria.
What you say? Garbage. Thanks. All right, yeah, you're right.
It's garbage.
It's trash.
Yeah.
What game were you guys gonna say? You had a game?
You know he has a game. My son is overcritical of everything that he did.
It's a very old game, and I remember it was a gift.
Bring it up. Oh, damn, he has a gift.
Which one? 64.
Dude.
Oh, it's
Blast Core.
Yo, Blast Core is hot.
Blast Core.
I don't even remember.
Explain Blast Core.
I didn't even know what you talking about that time, but I knew that game was trash.
I don't remember that.
It was like demolition.
Yeah,
stuff,
it was like a shooting game.
Like that. Break buildings in a certain amount of time. And it was just so garbage. I'm glad this was a gift. Because this game is horrible.
Damn, I don't remember that one either.
Took it out the 64, like, whew. Nah, you know, Live 64 did have their share of like some hot garbage games. So you're right. Dev?
I don't know if I can't really think of one that is like garbage. It's been so long. I've been so to think, because all the games I felt like growing up, I don't think I've stumbled into one that like I truly hated.
I had to Google that.
It's
sorry, I had to Google that.
No, that game was?
I just want to let everybody know. I was like, Google
Blast Corps?
Yeah, Blast Corps. I'm like, what the fuck?
I don't even never heard of it. I don't think
I'm a Google guy. I'm always like Wikipedia and everything. Sorry.
No, go ahead, because I was thinking back in my house, like, what the fuck is Blast Corps? I was like, I couldn't even.
Yeah, me, I'm like, what the fuck?
But
that's how we do it.
I never. What happened?
He said it's the game he would have liked.
Nah, I don't know. I don't think I ever had a game. I feel like all the games I played, like I decently enjoyed.
I think
unless it's been so like I can't think of it off the top of my head.
I don't buy trash.
But you know that. Then now we really do have to fall and see what is your best game.
There you go. That's how you switch it around, brother.
Oh my god, best game?
Yeah, you wouldn't believe what my best game is. Honestly, my favorite game.
Oh man, best game I ever played. It's hard. It's so many.
I know one.
Best game I ever played or favorite game you've ever played?
Okay, so define best and favorite.
Because that's
what I'm saying. When
if you say favorite, that's different than best.
Yeah, because it could be whack, but you.
So that makes sense, right? Because visually, it's like, hey, this best would be presentation, visuals, storytelling, everything about it. Just like, you know what?
Okay, I got
perfect. This makes sense. But your favorite is something like, yo, listen, y'all may not fuck with it, but like this hit me different at this time in my life.
Yes, I can say that.
Actually, wait. Let me go. Hold on. Let me cook. So, I have a couple favorites.
Yeah. Drop.
I'll come favorites first.
We got time, brother.
Favorites first. Mm-hmm. I want to say, you might think I'm bugging, but in my PlayStation era, Jack and Daxter was, I feel like, one of my favorite games to go to as a franchise series. Okay. Also, to follow up with that, Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed, and to be more specific, best one, Black Flag. Pirates. And it's crazy that I say that because I don't like.
He said, "You got."
Hey,
I'm not a big pirate fan.
You don't like the One Piece?
I'm not a One Piece.
No, he's not a One Piece.
I'm not a One Piece. Not a One Piece.
Have you got a chance to watch the live action?
I did. And we actually had an episode about it.
Last episode.
I was once. It's my fault for not watching it to see your reaction. But I was once like you. What the fuck is this Luffy dude? What is he doing?
Trust me.
He's stretching. He's stretching. He's doing some shit. You got a bunch of little ragtag guys doing some things.
The ragtag guys. I like this guy.
He's hitting the ship. He's watching. What is a One Piece? I don't know what that is. He's in the Grand Line.
Who knows what it is?
I don't know what it is.
Nobody knows what it is.
But when I saw the live action, floored. Shed a man tear.
Wow. See,
amazing.
That's what we talked about.
Visualization. So you see, the fact that you said that, our last episode, we did a whole critique, and I was the first person to say, like, I'm not a big fan of. I had never really liked, but I said the live action, and I said probably the best live adaptation I've ever seen, ever, and it made me like it a little bit more, and maybe gave me a more motivation to actually finish, to catch up to where I'm at.
I'm glad you're catching up. I'm gonna wait till season 2. I don't have time for this fucking. I don't got time.
You're not gonna watch 1,000 episodes.
You see? What do you think? Sorry, respectfully. You think I got the time for that?
No, but you gotta
exactly.
You gotta understand these 1,000 episode watchers. They've been watching.
So these two,
right here, watching it.
They've been watching it.
Yeah. Y'all committed. It's like I was gonna say it's like the girl of the pod, but I was like, let me take that back. Listen. You're here for a good time. It just happens to be 26 years, and you're stuck with it.
It happens to be 26 years.
I want 26 years to now be maybe like 6 months.
They're married. They're married to the shit.
You're married to the shit.
I mean, to be fair, 8 episodes of the live action series covered at least 5 or so arcs.
So exactly. Yeah. So it can't be condensed. And that's my
5 crewmates, including Luffy.
So and that was my biggest thing towards the anime. I'm like, I feel like great story. Yes, I'm not gonna doubt that it's a great story. But I feel like there's a lot of extra stuff that maybe doesn't need to be there. But that's why some of the diehard fans love it because it maximizes on certain characters, situations, fights, and all that. The home base of fans, they love that. To other people who probably didn't grow up in it or just couldn't, like me personally, it's a lot that could be condensed, and that's why I love the live adaptation because I'm like, honestly, they probably didn't need everything else, and I love how it was casted and how it was filled, but I feel like the only reason why it went that way is because the creator was heavily involved.
100%, yeah.
So, a lot of live adaptations, I'm not really sure if their creators were that much involved.
Well, exactly. Me and Aishan always laugh because the Cowboy Bebop dude tried to get involved, And they gave him the bag of money and was like, go over there.
Go over there. So he go for contributing, but like we're gonna do this.
He's too good.
He's too good.
And
he's gonna be all.
And that's the downfall of live.
Here's the money.
They knew they had trash. They was like, yo, chill. We about to butcher this.
They said, we need you to understand. We paid you a lot of money because we knew he was gonna mess us up. So
They didn't even let him in the room.
Yeah, that's right. He knocked it. They were like, bro, we gave you the money. Come on, man.
He's like, just go.
But hold that thought, man. If y'all want to see more of this wonderful review, check our previous episode, which is now our highest watched episode on YouTube. So that's where you can catch the rest of Young Dev's review of One Piece, the live action series. Don't say no more.
That's a fact. That's a fact. There's more content on that episode too.
Exactly.
But let's
favorite best games.
Let's go back. So those are one of my like favorites. I want to say best game that actually. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but The Last of Us.
Yo, that's not crazy at all.
That's me.
That was my best game also.
It's a
that's the best game I think.
But best game though?
Yo, I said.
But that's why you're gonna say. That's why I say you think I'm crazy. Because I'm going by.
But like both, like he can do it. Both
I don't know why. I don't believe that. But I don't believe that he said that.
If one person in the room says it, okay, I'll allow it. Two people, I'm like, nah.
I don't believe him. When he says that, I don't believe it.
No. But
have you played The Last of Us?
Of course. Come on, bro. He wouldn't be a VGA.
No. Listen, I had the collector's edition. The first weekend the game came out, went right through it. I was like level 110 in like the freaking multiplayer game, whatever that game was. I brought the Faction. Faction was so good.
Yeah.
Faction was so good. You had to pick. It was bootleg Fortnite because not bootleg Fortnite, but like it gave the idea of like survivor,
but it was more survival
royale. Yeah. You had to pick up pieces, create stuff, and just like God, hope I had the right the right tools and time. Great system. It was 4v4. It was super quick games. I hit platinum in that game, like with that stupid whatever.
Looking at another platinum master over there.
He's platinum that game though.
You didn't platinum that one? No. I'm surprised.
Yeah, no, he said
no. That game was.
At the time they had platinums.
Yeah. The Last of Us?
Well, it was a 2013.
No, of course. Yeah.
It's P3, yeah, P3.
Yeah, P3, bro.
When it first came out?
Yeah.
Now he's like, damn, why didn't I platinum? I just broke his brain. Nah, this guy, that's one thing about us too, that Jorge, or H-Son, he platinums most games, which I always give him mad props for because I find it hard as fuck to platinum.
Yeah, no, I don't do platinum stuff.
Yeah,
he platinumed the game,
I'm good.
Just games that
how many platinums do you have in total?
I don't know, like 10.
That's a lot.
10 different games at 100%.
That's hundreds of games. It's not like
I know, it's just funny because he was like, I don't know, 10?
Some
if you said 5,
like,
I'd be like, alright, I'll shut up. But 10?
Like 1.
No, that's That's all like.
Not even normal. 10 is
like, it's a high number.
That was my greatest trophy of time.
My man was like, I got down more than that.
Nah.
Okay.
No, actually, I was gonna say Last of Us was one of the best games I ever played. I don't know. I mean, I played a lot. I feel like I played a decent amount of games, but I'm not like the ultimate gamer. But Last of Us was a game that I was talking about for a while before people were like really on it. And then
he was a pioneer.
Once it got blown up, not a pioneer, but like
transcendent.
I mean, at that time, no funny. At the time, me and him were roommates, and I was on it, but you were playing it heavy too. Like we were playing it, and other people were not really talking about it. Like we were playing it heavy, and like there was only like a small group of people that were like honestly, really on it.
Yeah, but I get it too because it was one of those games that's like, yo, like it's gonna be like legendary. It's Naughty Dog, and like no one really knew. Because when you think about it now, like now it like makes sense. It's like a survival game, but like it's a AAA title of a survival game where you're not necessarily shooting, right? You're stealth. Like you had options to get away enemies. It wasn't just one path to like victory. And I think they were trying at that time to really start pushing the narrative of games as being like the only objective is like you have one way and it's with a gun. Now it's like let's just duck, dive, and look at all this. It's really about the storytelling. It's really about like understanding like why do I care? Because they were trying to do they're trying to work with movies, right? Like it was like a movie thing to games. And I just went on a tangent right there.
No, you get it.
Good.
Right, so
my
favorite game, though. You're gonna laugh at my favorite game.
It's a favorite game, man.
My favorite game, honestly, and it's still, I don't know why. It's a game that got better over time. The graphics got better, and it was kind of fun. Like honestly, my favorite game was Sly Cooper.
Oh, okay.
Sly Cooper was a good game. Like people, it was around the era when they were making freaking 3-4 versions of every game. You had, Ratchet and Clank, you had Spyro, you had Crash Bandicoot, which is also one,
That's a
top.
classic.
So that's a classic. Crash Bandicoot would have been my favorite, but something about Sly Cooper, especially when it got to the end when they upgraded their graphics, I was like, okay, this is a really dope game. No one was really playing that shit like that. Like it was like the three main characters were really funny, and like you were a thief, like you were just like a ninja thief thing doing your raccoon doing your thing. I was like, yeah, I don't know, I really like that game. I got into it heavy, and the other, if I had to pick one more, it would be Midnight Club.
Okay. I was wondering when you was gonna say a racing game.
Yeah,
bro.
Midnight Club.
Yeah, I was wondering.
That was.
Wait, which one? Because there's a bunch of them.
I think it was Dub.
There you go. Cars real big.
Yeah.
That's how I was saying about.
It was Dub. It was a Midnight Club too. Nah, it went. I feel like it was between one of the Midnight Clubs.
Oh good. All
right, who got left?
Dev said,
did you say anything yet?
No, I haven't said anything yet.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
It was your question. Let's
That's why he went around the room.
No, yeah, but we didn't talk. Yeah, you guys go. Then that should go. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's
So the three of us. Go ahead.
I can say these two interchangeably for best and favorite. Metal Gear Solid 1 and RE2 Original.
Metal Gear Solid 1, I can see.
Like
RE2 Original, I've never played.
I was speedrunning before I knew speedrunning was a thing. Because I just played that game religiously.
I don't even know what game that is, honestly.
Metal Gear Solid, I was never good at it.
You said RE2, right? Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil.
Oh, okay. All right. See, I'm not in that lingo.
he's like, I don't know, but I just know.
Oh no, bro. He's like, RE2, what the fuck?
Resident Evil was one of those games that I went to people's house and I was like, let me see where you at. Oh, where? I'm out.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. What's it called again? Resident Evil 2? I might check it out.
I like zombies too.
Yeah, where is that? I like zombies, nigga. It's just alright. He walked in one day, was like, is this shit they doing a movie about? That's crazy. So you was always a survival adventure kind of game.
Yeah, he been playing Resident Evil for forever.
He was one of the best.
And what's the most recent game you platinum?
Was it Elden Ring or was it another one?
It might have been Elden Ring or Cyberpunk.
Bugging.
That's why I said that.
Let me tell y'all. Let me tell the fans what that looks like. The platinum Elden Ring. You guys already saw the memes. Even those who have not seen anything from gaming know on TikTok that people are playing that game and trying to beat Melania, whatever, as a violinist. All right, it's ridiculous what people are doing, but the content is quite crazy. So for you to platinum that game, a super hard game.
I ain't gonna lie.
Tip the hat off to him.
Yeah.
Tip the hat off to him.
He beat the game.
He
beat the game before anybody else. I know.
That's a lie.
You should be streaming this stuff, man.
Oh. Yo, can I walk out of here right now?
We can walk out right now.
Because I had a nickel for every time.
Yeah, 20 cents.
Because people like that. Like, bro, it don't matter. Like,
tell him, please.
Listen, bro. Whatever you say no to, I don't care. Do it. That's it.
Bro, I told him he could have went famous because when Elden Ring dropped, right?
Bro,
when Elden Ring dropped, if you go back to our old episodes, there's proof. We had the case like right here. We used to rock the case right here, right? And he used to talk. He used to talk about like, oh, I'm gonna stream. And then he beat the game and platinum it. And we were like, one of my boys, Mike, he was on the show. He heard the same thing like you. It was like, what are you talking about right now? I was like, bro, see, you could have streamed it. People have never seen someone really platinum the game. I was like, you could have streamed it, and you didn't even have to stream it all the time. You could just stream it sometimes.
Or at least the day you was about to platinum it, like, yo, I want to let y'all know all I got to do is this. But he's a legend nonetheless.
But you're a legend.
Yeah, he's a legend nonetheless. He's a beast. I'm glad you said that.
We can't dismiss that fact that you are a legend.
Yeah, he's a quiet beast. He did his thing.
Quiet beast.
Since you were the one to ask the question, we'll let you answer it last. I'll say mine.
Yeah. I want the whole nerds.
So there was a couple of games because I know you said drop the gems. So for me, I was a multiplayer guy back in the day. I loved the competition. I loved the trash talking. Even when you caught the L and you were salty, I loved all of those feelings. The feeling of victory, the agony of defeat, all of that. So I wasn't just a fan of games. I was also a fan of soundtracks. And I know I never got to really play Chrono Trigger by myself, but I loved the soundtrack. I loved the Smash Brothers soundtrack since a compilation of everything, basically. And of course, this flies. This is the real guest of the show. Anyway, but I always loved sports games too. But back in the day, wrestling games were the most fun for me. No Mercy, SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, Day of Reckoning, even, which was an underrated gem. Just all of those games. Even I think Here Comes the Pain was the one where, if I'm right, Ashawn, you would walk to the back room, and then magically you were like transported to another city. Like they could be on SmackDown, they'll say they're in Kansas City, and then you take them to the back, and niggas was in Times Square, and you were like, how did we get back? We kept playing it, and you could like Irish whip somebody into the boiler room, and the boiler would explode, but the wrestler was still fighting. So it was games like that where I was just like, yo, this was the games where the graphics was crazy. NBA Street, Mario Kart, all of those games were like some of my favorite games. Like I could say that there's single player games that I really love to play, but multiplayer games for me was it. And when I was really younger, there was 3 based on the music and just the vibe that I played religiously. There's more, but there's 3 I'm just going to say. Mario Kart 64, one of the best soundtracks I ever heard in my life. Diddy Kong Racing, and Pokemon Puzzle League. It was something about those 3 games. I just could not stop playing video games every day. Especially Pokemon Puzzle League, because you knew you was getting cooked when the Pokemon's voice got high-pitched. Like, you just knew. Bulbasaur would be like, Bulbasaur! And then all of a sudden you hear Bulbasaur. You was like, fuck! That was just it. Like, you got it, nigga. Just once you heard one of those Pokemon get to that noise, that was a noise the Pokemon was letting you know, like, fam, it's it. This is it. There ain't no coming back from this. I don't know what you think you're gonna do. But the best feeling was when you got the stack hit on your side of the Tetris blocks and you came back on the homie. That was it. Because all you seen was the shit go up and you won. You was like, yeah, nigga, hold that. So those are for me. That was it. Those are my favorite games. Multiplayer games is the reason I love video games, because it's the reason most of us play it. To talk shit and to have fun.
What's bad?
he's like, goddamn.
Well, no, because everybody brought things that were different. Like it's like, why is it your favorite game? And like my favorite games are different. My favorite games, you guys would be like, what the?
But fuck? I mean, that's the dopest thing I think about video games, uniqueness. Right? It's because that each of us do play games, but you know, we can even play online together, right? Yeah. All the time, right? We meet up, play Fortnite, play Call of Duty. That doesn't mean that is that person's favorite game. Like, you know what I'm saying? On the other flip side of it, you know, when you're just alone, you might play a different game. Like, you might on your off time, you play a different game. So that's the dope thing about like that whole video games and that whole anime world, is that everyone is unique in his own way. And that's why there is so many avenues to create different games. And you can create a new game right freaking now, and they blow up.
We're going for our beer.
Or just create a whole new lane, right? There's like something that hasn't been thought of maybe, and you just, you know, graphic design a new game, like a new concept.
And that's always the beautiful thing about like art, right? Like whether it be, you know, I wouldn't say conventional art, right? But like it's also, you know, art is various in its forms. And, you know, when you think of design, you still think of art. And when you think of like these new games, like they still have a base. It's still supposed to be fun, and whatever that looks like. You know, Mario's still fun because you're chasing toward a goal. Mm-hmm. Pokemon's fun because you get to collect. There's a goal and objective. Mm-hmm. So whatever that may look like, you're right. Just like how, you know, what's that look like for these new games? But ultimately, you know, we're designing something great.
That's right.
Of course.
But my favorite games.
Talk to him.
Let's hear it. You started the question, so
honestly, Gunstar Superheroes.
Ooh.
So Gunstar Heroes came out in Sega Genesis, but then they was remade into Gunstar Superheroes in the Game Boy Advance. Fantastic game. I'm actually a big fan of the actual game developer company because they ended up making Astro Boy of Mega Factor, another game that gave you the element of choice. And so from there, whatever you chose to do, like it was just a beautiful game, beautiful storytelling and all that stuff. And a game that I'm actually gonna put into that I really enjoyed recently. Like, I don't like bringing new games into the mix, but Final Fantasy 16.
I want to say something about that game you just said.
Which one?
He picked a game that was on the Sega Genesis. So
yeah,
which is crazy because like I mean all of us picked systems almost similar. Sega Genesis was one of the systems that was out there at that time.
That's right.
So like that's interesting that was the game choice. Were you a heavy Sega Genesis fan or like?
No, so I think my parents or my dad may have gotten like a Sega Genesis. He didn't really play it. I think we had Mortal Kombat 2 at the time. But then I think Gunstar Heroes at the time came into my life. It was really good. It was just like a bootleg Contra. It was kind of like Contra but Sega Genesis. You know, at the time you have to like compare it to something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they did Gunstar Superheroes, and that I freaking loved. I love the art direction of the storytelling, so you know I kind of just felt for that. But I also know like it's like a favorite game that's also copied off another game that's like super popular, like Contra. So
nice.
Final
Fantasy, unfortunately, is not a series that I play either. But
you never played any Final Fantasy?
No, I've never played any Final Fantasy at all. Like not even a little bit. And you want to know why? It's just because I already knew it was an RPG, and I was just like, I'm good.
That's why I like to read.
Yo, how did you know that?
bro, Pokemon, that's all I knew. I was like, experience point? What the fuck does experience point mean? What does like all this mean? Like yo, I learned English through Pokemon. I learned English. I honestly learned English through like JRPGs. I love Japanese RPGs. I love turn-based. Not everything has to be action RPG. Fuck that shit. I know developers at Capcom are watching this. Please subscribe to the channel. But seriously, I don't need that shit. I hate that. I love the back and forth.
Oh, turn-based. Yeah.
Even Baldur's Gate. I think Baldur's Gate 3 was super popular because it had like that element of like that back and forth. So
legit.
You platinum that, right? Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, ask one of the 10 games he platinum. Maybe.
Word, yo, you didn't even say the 10 games you platinum, yo.
No, chill. We're not going there.
All right, you're gonna tell me. You're gonna tell me, and we're gonna put it on a post one day for people to see. Like, damn, you platinum that? Like, that's crazy. But nah, we glad that we got that out the way, man. We had to hear the worst of the worst and the best of the best, and our favorites too, because that's what video games is all about. Nerds in the Hood is comprised of several elements, and one of those key elements is video games. And that's why we do this, because back in the day, you could only talk about video games with a secluded group of folk. Like, most of the big thugs was like, man, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Like, if they try and play video games, they try and play like Madden or 2K, you know. But sometimes you caught a thug playing, you know, Resident Evil and getting the shit scared out of him. Sometimes you caught a thug thinking he was nice and Power Stone, and then one of his nerds was cooking him. So stuff like that happened, you know. And then just like he said, it sometimes it helps you in ways you didn't even think. You learn different words, you learn different things, music, anything. But we appreciate you video games and all you've done, from the Nintendos to the Segas, PlayStations, Microsofts, everything. Atari.
It's a time.
Yeah. Anything, any system that was good, even the systems that they was like, well, they tried, but don't do that shit no more. Just all that stuff. We appreciate you video games. We'll take a shot for you at the end of the episode, just because that's
Dreamcast? Anybody had Dreamcast here?
Oh yeah, Dreamcast was cool. Dreamcast? I didn't have it, but I had a friend.
My brother had Dreamcast, and actually at the time, Dreamcast wanted to send y'all like, if you called in, you were able to get like a free Dreamcast.
No, really?
When was that?
When was this?
Yeah. What year was that?
You knew about this?
I have no idea.
It was one of their marketing ploys. So that's like what my brother. That's how my brother got his free Dreamcast. He explained it to me, and I was like,
98.
Yeah, no. He's like 10 years older than me. He's like
no. But okay, I'll explain.
So he made a call in, and he said, "I want a free Dreamcast." Like.
They were trying to marketing at the time was trying to like mark, you know.
It makes sense because at
it's
that
not a crazy
time,
story. Like I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, this guy's bugging out," but like it's not.
No, it's not bugging. It's
basically, and this is not gospel because I'm just saying it from like my Spark Notes version. If you were able to get a free Dreamcast, you have to make a review about it and talk about it. You know, at the time, you know, Dreamcast again was ahead of its time. Dreamcast was ahead of its time. Even everything that they've done, they're like, hey, like we just need people to like it. We'll send out a few copies so people can understand, you know, can see what it was. My brother was like, all right, cool, I'll do it. He got it, and I think he ended up doing the program, but like, they never asked for it back, and so he was like, all right, cool. I guess
he's like, just got a free system.
Yeah, free system.
That's fire.
Yeah.
It's free Dreamcast.
That's dope.
Yeah,
That's dope.
So anyway, we're gonna end on this one final note. First off, I want to thank you for being the first guest in the studio. We appreciate you. We thank you for joining us, man, and always supporting Nerds in the Hood. And we always going to support video game amateurs, man. But once again, you can make that plug and let people know what's going on in your neck of the woods. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, what's going on? Once again, my name is Naaviiz from Video Game Amateurs, and thank you so much for being a part of this. Nerds in the Hood, you guys are exceptional, amazing. You guys are doing some great stuff. Keep following the craft. Make sure to be you, right? But yeah, if you guys want to see more of us, it is videogameamateurs.com, as well as VG Amateurs, but it's not VGA Amateurs. I have to remind the people of that. If you want to see me exclusively, I will be streaming Tuesdays and Thursdays. I used to actually do Pokemon Go content during the weekends, but Pokemon related content, it's going to be with your boy. I do love playing a lot of Nuzlocke. And I like screaming and just having a good time with my people.
That's what's up.
There you go, as always. And of course, we gotta make our drop too, brother.
No, we're gonna do the cheers and then do the drop.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You want to do the cheers first?
Yeah.
We're gonna look kind of crazy, but
yeah, we can just knock out the drop and then do the cheers.
Alright.
So we do editing.
Yeah. So So you can once again, you can always catch us on all social media at Nerds in the Hood, NERDZINTHEOHOOD. Because of you, man. Because of you.
We forgot.
Forgot to spell it. Spelling.
Let's spell it, yo.
Let's do it one more time.
Yeah, you know. So catch us on Nerds in the Hood at NERDZINTHEOHOOD. That's where you can catch all the clips of our show, any upcoming events that we're doing, we meet future guests, any drops that we give to any other people, shout outs we give to people, and as well as our anime rap intros. Fun fact, Ivan here was a proud endorser of it, which made us go harder and put more rap intros on there for y'all. We ain't reached 300 yet, but we took a little break, but we come into 300 soon. We are like 299, so we get into 300.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, right there. So we do got something in store for 300, an idea we thought of, but we'll let you know about that when you see it. But in the meantime, in between time, we want to thank y'all for watching, and we hope you see you next week on another edition of the podcast starring your boys, Mar Black,
Aunt McGee,
Young Dev,
and Naaviiz.
the Nerds in the Hood.
Yo.
Good night, people.
Yo, shout out
Peace.
to VGA, yo.
Shout out to VGA.
Thank you for being here.
Happy Video Games Day,
Naaviiz,
people.
Thank you for pulling up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Always welcome. Always welcome.
Salute. Peace, people. Good night.